Hey, welcome back and happy new year. This is my first full video this year, I think. There might have been one more that snuck in at the tail end and just sort of crossed into the new year, but I'm pretty sure this is the first one. And it's about the Guard, which makes me happy. So, strangely enough, and I'm sure everyone has heard about this already, but Games Workshop is going to put out an upgrade sprue for the Cadians that are coming out assumedly this month. They're not available yet unless you've bought the Cadia Stands box. And yeah, they just decided that they already need an upgrade sprue. There was a lot of bits in there, and I think I went over that sprue. I'm pretty sure I did. And I personally, other than the lasguns, was pretty impressed with the weapon choices. Although this upgrade sprue, I almost feel like they preemptively heard my complaint. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it's just guardsman bits, just stuff to go with the Cadians. There's a few bodies, a good number of arms, lots of heads, and a bunch of like bits and bobs that you can just add in. And there's nothing bad about this. I mean, to say other than I guess it's a little weird that the newest set already has an upgrade. The last Cadians, they had that box set for pretty close to 20 years before that extra sprue got added in, and kind of breathe a bit of new life into them just at the tail end of their lifespan. I think that came out about 12 to 18 months ago, something like that. So getting one so quickly is weird, and at the same time it's good. So, you know, in the sense that we are getting a lot of new bits. There's a lot of really characterful heads included. This top row and this guy, I mean, the rest of these are they're just guys in hats. Although I do think there were very limited numbers of those in the real sprue, so that is probably good to get more of those. I'm pretty sure the field caps there were like one or two. These are not the kinds of heads I would put on my guardsmen, maybe the wounded guy, just because I like my guys to have helmets. But if you are the person who likes to model and really like, you know, if you're the guy who plays, you know, the RPG, and you go into settings and you turn off helmets so that you can wear one but still see your character, these are basically the heads you want. Now, unfortunately, there are only, what is this, like 7, 8 with this guy, sprues, new options on this sprue. So it's not like it's really going to allow you to super customize your entire army, but I think having one of these and mixing these in, maybe 2, as long as you spread them out among different squads and you have lots of squads, and you take some time to make sure the hair color is quite different, maybe do some green stuff additions or some shaving here and there just to extra break it up. But for real, that's going to look good. You know, again, it's not my thing. I like my guys to have headwear. You know, even this would have been, you know, my main choice if helmets weren't an option. But if you are the person who likes no helmets, I mean, this is a good little set for that. What else here? You do get some cool, like, you know, in my head's like tank crew, or like if you want to do like a sappers unit. If you don't know what a sapper is, it's somebody who is essentially an engineer, but they get into, you know, demolition and stuff in the military. It's an older thing for the most part, I would think, but essentially, if you want an engineering unit, I think having some of this stuff in there is pretty cool. The guy with the wrench, the axe. Actually, if you want to do like a French theme, the French sergeants back like a couple hundred years ago used to carry axes instead of like a musket, or like in addition to their musket, and they'd have like these big aprons. And usually they were like huge guys with big beards. They were just basically like lumberjacks with like a big butcher's apron that would come at you with an axe. So that might be pretty cool to have as a thing, if you can make that work on the body. And I can see a few ways to make that work. You also get, I think we saw this in one preview, this belt-fed autogun. That's pretty cool looking. Some like Rambo stuff going on there. Some backpacks, more bayonets, more rolls, sleeping rolls, jerry cans or Prometheum cans. Some sandbags. I mean, it's probably the least interesting thing in here, just because I mean that's like a 5-second bit of work with milliput to make your own. But still, they're included, and if you buy 2 or 3 of those, you can make a little stack of sandbags, I guess. A new power sword, always welcome to have extra swords. This cape, guy's wearing a cape. I don't know if this is like on him. I don't see his head up here, so I'm not sure how you make this guy. This might be a bunch of parts put together, but this like Knight Commander Pask looking dude, he's armored division leader or something. And yeah, I do think it's the same cloak, but whatever, it's a cloak. Yeah, like that's just a nice thing to have, especially in the Cadians. Having guys doing like the nod to Ursakar Creed, is that his name? Ursakar? Yeah, I think it's Ursakar. It's another medic looking thing there. Just in general, it's good. But one thing again I did complain about were the lasguns. They were mostly those newer, and some people have told me they're actually older style lasguns being brought into storage, which would make sense, I guess. But these lasguns, the like the more modern pistol grip style, having extras of these is really nice, because I was sort of annoyed with how many guardsmen kind of seemed like they were stuck taking just this mix and match layout of lasguns in their squads. So having, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more is pretty nice. I think there was 2 or 3 already, so it gets you pretty close to a squad. Definitely a squad when you include like a sergeant and a couple of special weapons, or a special weapon and a heavy weapon. So that's also good. Little ammo box, like just really great pieces. Actually, I forgot to mention these guys. I really like, I can zoom this in, should be able to. Yeah, these guys here. These guys are very reminiscent of the Kasserkin, because they're wearing the gas mask the Kasserkin wear, but it's sort of like the old hazardous environment Cadian upgrades you could buy. So again, really nice to have. I think there might have been something like this on the sprue, but I don't remember offhand, and I just didn't feel like digging out a sprue from storage to go find it, because I have a couple of sprues put away for another day. Actually, also there seems to be I never even noticed this. This looks like just a mechanical arm. That's pretty cool too. Yeah, no. As far as upgrades go, these are really nice. As far as milking a brand new kit, not as nice. Because you are going to look at this, if this comes out the same day and you're a new guard player, not picking this up is sort of missing out on, like, I don't know, let's just call it like a quarter or a fifth of the kit. It feels like they just took a lot of the more unique pieces off the kit and just put it in another kit. This is day one DLC, you know, and that's not good. It's never good, but it's Games Workshop. It's the games industry in general. Doesn't matter what it is. You either accept this stuff or you walk away, and you vote with your wallet. So if you vote with your wallet not to buy this because you think this is kind of obscene, I can respect that. If you say, well, you know what, I still want it, I'm not going to judge you. It is some pretty cool stuff, and I can see the value to it, even though I know it's going to be overcosted for what it is. One thing it's kind of, I think a lot of people have taken up as a good sign is that if they're already doing a Cadian Upgrade Sprue, they could do other regiments as an upgrade to the Cadian Sprue. And there's a few that would work really, really well right out of the box with minor changes. I think that if they were doing other regiments, like say Praetorians, I've seen Praetorians on the new Cadian bodies. It's literally a head swap to match up the more recent GW versions where they just literally did a head swap on Cadians and painted them like Praetorians. I think they used Empire Pistolier heads. And anyways, yeah. Cadians can turn into a few different regiments pretty easily. I think that it would really depend on the regiment, how much you got in the box. I think that, say, Steel Legion, if they did that, I would think they would need to change arms. Not really a huge deal, but I feel like the arms would need to be sort of like the 2-part arms and cloak sets you get sometimes, like in snipers and whatnot. And that would represent the greatcoat. And I don't know how they would do that. They would have to fit over all the legs, but they have computers to make that stuff work. So, you know, that's just me thinking of a more extreme option, but that would take a lot of parts. So it would be heads and the cloaks to go around the bodies and whatnot. And I think it'd be cool. Or if even if it was just an outright replacement to the torso, and it had a cloak. Mordians, I think, would be pretty easy. Yes, they have the armor, but it's something that if somebody said, okay, Mordians, you know, sometimes wear armor. Okay, you know, there's nothing to say that Mordians always have to dress the same. It's not ideal. I'd prefer Mordians in full dress suits, but again, that could just be a torso swap. If they were just doing torso swaps and head swaps in these kits for the most part, I think that would just look really good, if I'm being honest. So Praetorians and Mordians, pretty easy. That could even be a mixed kit. Here's your Praetorian stuff, which is just some heads. And here's some Mordian heads, and here's some torsos to make them more Mordian-like. And that would fill up pretty much all your spots in here. Vostroyans, I do not think would work. Same with Valhallans. Again, I think because the Steel Legion are still pretty modern-looking infantry, again, a torso swap, some arms for a different lasgun. They do have the cut-down stock lasguns in the lore. So that would be an upgrade I would like to see in there, but it's just some heads again, and they all wear gas masks. So you don't have to have so many variations. You could just literally have 10 variations in the box and it'll be fine. You know, 11 or 12 maybe, if you want to like add a couple of extra like very specific looking ones. But they would work fairly simply in my head versus, because again, the torso with the greatcoat, it's a short greatcoat. It's not like the Valhallans have pretty long greatcoats. The Vostroyans are they're just so ornate looking that there's just so much would have to change. You would need torsos, you would need big heads, which would take a lot of sprue space. You would need new lasguns and special weapons. Like it's a lot of extra stuff. And I don't think the legs for Cadians really work as a Vostroyan option, in my opinion. I've painted enough of the damn things. I think I'm a fairly good judge of that, but everybody would have their own opinion there. What else would we get? A weird one, Harkoni Warhawks or like Elysians. I think for the most part would work again with, here's some backpacks for the jetpacks. Here are, in the case of Elysium, here's some new lasguns that are bullpups and your helmets. But for the most part, I think they would match pretty much the same. And yeah, I mean, like there's a few that Talarn, I don't think Talarn would work as easy again, just because it would need a torso, but and like the pants and everything, they're very different. But there's not many, like I said. I think like, yeah, Talarn, Valhallan, and Vostroyan would probably be the three like hard ones. And Catechins, obviously, but I mean Catechins just need an entire rework anyways. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to stop going through this. It's taken way too long. I just wanted to share my thoughts on it and some like hopes and wish listing for what they might do with it, because this is a good idea if they take it past this. if they stop here and just say, hey, these new Cadians, you can make them look even cooler or more different, more unique if you give us more money. That's a lazy cash grab. That's, you took a box, you split out like a sprue worth of stuff and said, okay, for an extra 30, and in Canada it's going to be $40. I can tell you right now, this is going to be $40 Canadian minimum for this upgrade. And I really hope I'm wrong, but I know it's going to be $40 Canadian. Not enough value for me to buy it personally, but I can see for some people, if they are the type who have the, well, whatever, I'm willing to pay whatever it takes for my hobby, and I'm cool with accepting that. That's fine. I do think for most people, this is not going to be viable, at least not for Cadians. If it was a different regiment, maybe. But I do think this here is going to take your Cadian squads north of $100 Canadian for a box of 10. That's just my final thought. Anyways, if you're interested in the Guard and you want to chat about it, there's always my my little Discord channel. There's not many of us. There's like 2 or 3. I think there's 2 people in there with me. So just a place to chat, and we just kind of share pictures and stuff. And if you want to join in, you can find the link below. And if you have any thoughts or comments you just want to leave here, that'd be cool too, because I like chatting with people about Warhammer. Even though I don't always agree with Games Workshop or I get annoyed, I still love Warhammer. And this here is a mixed bag. Again, I think it's good. I also think it's bad. And it's going to be really bad in my mind if it stops here. But I've already said that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. And thanks very much for watching. Have a great day.